Hi, welcome.
We pledge allegiance to the people of the Pacific Northwest of America and to the things in which they love, like hiking, biking, big hat liking. So ride down that mountain, rent that Rambler, wave to that log, use huge scissors, learn to park that giant new car, and let the good times roll, baby. This is our promise to you. Worry less, live more with PEMCO, Defender of your Northwest.
Thank you for coming to our session. I want you to think about your favorite superhero. Now imagine that same superhero with one less superpower. Would they still be able to save the world? Hi, I'm Darlene Adams. I'm with PEMCO Insurance. I'm the Claims Business Intelligence Analyst.
And I'm Tim Hughes, Principal Tableau Developer and Admin at PEMCO. And we're excited to tell you about how Tableau has helped us enhance our superpowers.
Our superpowers include courage, integrity, and superior customer service. We have proven our ability to provide that superior customer service by winning the J.D. Powers Award for the Northwest Auto Insurance Companies for the last 7 years in a row. But there was one thing we lacked, and that was our tech. So let's all get into the Wayback Machine and take a look at what it was like. Ticky marks. We kept track of how many claims were coming in the door using ticky marks. It took a couple days to roll those up into Excel spreadsheets to explain to our leaders how many claims we were getting, how many claims we were closing. And let's talk about how we couldn't see our performance. We didn't know how our file performance was, or file quality was trending over time. We sometimes got a snapshot, but it was really hard to get to. It was really manual. Our Superman VP, he was flying blind. He didn't have a view into our financials. He didn't know on a daily basis what was happening in our claims department. What we did have was a file folder filled with PDFs and Excel spreadsheets to answer simple little questions randomly. It was disorganized, and they came out monthly, weekly, daily. But now we can see all of that. We have a view into our data. We can see it at every level of detail. Everybody who needs the information has it. It's like a dawning of a new age.
And all this added value is evidenced by our adoption rates. We've seen adoption in the 3 years since we deployed Tableau Server go from 0% in the claims department up to 83% of claims employees use Tableau Server at least once a month, and 18% of them use it daily. So why did we go with Tableau Server and deploy it broadly to claims and the rest of the enterprise? Well, we just said everything was a mess and we had to fix it. The better question is, how did we do it? So there's been a lot of talk this conference about Tableau Blueprint, which is a relatively new program, but we on our own discovered 7 elements of our strategy that's helped us grow adoption. So the first element of our strategy was to actually establish a strategy.
Our VP set a strategy in place, and it involved understanding what were the key business metrics that we needed to have reports about. We then prioritized those reports, and there's an aspect to our strategy where we wanted to make sure that we were delineating between production level reports and just ad hoc reports. What we didn't want is to go back to the way we were doing things, which was a proliferation of miscellaneous reports. So we were really focused on creating production level reports where we can really do the deep analyses.
The second element of our strategy was to assemble the key players. 2 of those key players are in front of you today, but the third was our claims VP, as Darlene mentioned, who set our strategy. He used industry experience and his vision in having worked in both claims and IT to set a coherent strategy for the claims department. And then we have Darlene, who's our claims BI analyst. Darlene brings 28 years of experience, not only in insurance, not only in claims, but in PEMCO for 28 years in the claims department in a variety of roles, from adjuster to supervisor and now claims BI analyst, which that industry knowledge as well as PEMCO experience has been essential for the change management we've been undertaking and understanding the culture and how to shift it.
And we also have Tableau Tim. That's his real nickname. And he has deep Tableau knowledge to complement the business knowledge. And he also has experience with decentralized self-service analytics.
So the next element of our strategy was to not shy away from the difficult task of undertaking some extensive data engineering. So concurrent with our implementation of Tableau Server, we also decided to redo our data repository, and I'm not going to call it a warehouse because it wasn't, and actually build a warehouse. So that, if anyone's ever tried to do it, you're probably still doing it because it takes a lot of work. But we determined that our prior data repository was just wholly unfit to serve our new needs. It had never gone through any sort of rigorous QA or testing. There's a lot of tribal knowledge, no documentation, same kind of strategy or approach as our ad hoc reports, where we had ad hoc tables and no overarching strategy to them. So now we have a source system that we get history from, that we put into a topic model, into a dimensional model, that we then build Tableau published data sources off of, which is a great way to distribute the labor so that my team, the information management team, can concentrate on data engineering and allow Darlene and other analysts to use those published data sources to spend more time doing analysis rather than data engineering. So as another element, we also invested in training and coaching, primarily in the form of time. So 1 to 2 times a month, I run 2-hour Tableau desktop training sessions on a variety of topics for 2 different skill levels that kind of merge in and out. And we get all the analysts together in the boardroom, because why not do it in the boardroom, and go through interactive exercises with animated solutions so that we can bring the analyst's business or analyst Tableau knowledge up to par with their business knowledge.
And I appreciate the training that he does, because he's not only an expert at Tableau, we use our own data sources, so I get to learn the data sources at the same time. A thing that I do for our claims users is we have onboarding training. So every new employee into the claims department, they go through training for each of the most critical reports that we use. They're 3 to 5 minute videos, and it's just part of the curriculum for bringing them on board. So one thing that we did that really drove adoption is we solved the problem that our users were having with even locating where the reports were. They were saving links to reports in emails and then going back through their emails trying to find it. It was not optimal. So what we did was we created a user interface. It's a dashboard that provides KPIs, but also provides navigation to the reports. So we have the adjusters, we have user filters on it, so when whoever signs on, they're going to see their information, and without having to filter. We have, you can see we have trends for new claims that are coming in. We have all sorts of metrics that are important to follow. And we have, down at the bottom here, we have administrative tasks that the adjusters need to do in their claims. And so now they have control over their information. It's right at their fingertips. And we also have, if we can go back one, we also have buttons that will take them to the server, because not every report we have is linked in the KPIs. So if they want to do further investigation, they can jump into our ad hoc folder or any of the other project folders that we have. So it's more organized. We had early success. So this is the first report that Tableau Tim created. And so for the first time, our adjusters, the adjusters are the ones that investigate claims and serve the customer, they could see a picture of all of the claims that they had open. They knew how old they were. It was really wonderful. So our early success, we had 14% increase in the closure of claims. And that's important because when we close a claim that doesn't need to be open, we were able to release $2 million worth of reserves. And Insurance 101, or reserve, is we set money aside when we have to pay a claim. So we can't use that in our company. We can't invest it. So that is a huge win just from one dashboard.
So our next element of our strategy was to address what had previously been a proliferation of content in terms of Excel files and PDFs, which initially carried over to a proliferation of content on Tableau server. So we set up an archival process to archive production dashboards, test dashboards under different criteria, and then eventually delete those archived dashboards if they were no longer needed. We also took a data-driven approach to our content management, and I've developed 39 dashboards off of Tableau's Postgres repository and other data we collect about our server, data from Tabmon, TabJolt, other ancillary services, so that we can analyze things like extract refresh failures, so that we can notify not just the content owner, but anyone who's connected to the data source or any project leader as well, so we broadcast that to a wider audience to help them know when there's an issue, do a lot of load testing analysis when we're upgrading, regression testing of the Tableau server repository to make sure it won't break any of our background processes that run using the REST API and the Tableau server client. And I honestly can't imagine trying to manage a Tableau server implementation without these dashboards.
There's a dashboard that I get alerts from when my extract failures, or if there are extract failures, because I need to inform my stakeholders if there's a problem with the dashboard. Speaking of stakeholders, influencing stakeholders needs to be intentional. We had to shift a mindset from just give me a crosstab, just give me an Excel spreadsheet and I'm just going to be happy, into let's do some analytics. And so helping them understand that we are making a transition and reminding them of that. One thing I have done is I've created a report request form where if they can't find the information that they need, I walk them through questions to help them think about what they're asking for so that we don't end up with an ad hoc report, we have a production level report. So asking the why, getting to the root of what it is that they're looking for, and so that has helped. I also have, as part of our strategy, involved prioritizing the reports. So if I have a director that comes to me and says, I need this next week, the form will help them understand they need to negotiate with the other directors to set the priority. I have a Gantt chart that shows them what's in the works and what's planned, so they know if they can bump a priority or not. So I'm not making that decision, they are, and so it helps me prioritize my work. Another thing that's really driving our adoption is we have given a view into our utilization. So we have a dashboard that shows the last time a report was used, who's using it, how often, and so it helps me understand what's valuable. It helps me to subscribe people to reports that are valuable that they don't know about yet, and it also helps the supervisors look at how their adjusters are using it, and so they can also subscribe their adjusters to reports they need to be looking at. So that's really helped.
And then, as a bonus element that we didn't list, make sure to take time to celebrate your wins.
When we launched Claims Insight, it was really exciting for me and probably, I think, Tim too. But we socialized it. We went out to the offices, we brought malasadas and cinnamon rolls and I talked it up with the employees and created some excitement around it, and we had initially great adoption.
So we don't want to mislead you to believe that we're finished. We still have a lot of work to do. Specifically, we want to prioritize automating new content notifications so that we can notify all users in the company, not just claims, of when they have new dashboards available to them to use. We also want to develop on-demand user training for all Tableau server end users so that they can better understand the platform and its full capabilities. We want to re-architect our content promotion process. I spoke about our content archival process, which has been a huge success. We, at the same time, implemented a content promotion process that honestly flubbed real bad. So we're going to take time to re-architect that, involve some ancillary technologies to create a whole workflow for moving content into prod while still keeping ad hoc nice and ad hoc. And we also want to roll out Ask Data. I think Ask Data is going to be a huge force for democratizing our data and getting people answers to the questions they need in that moment. But it presents a data engineering challenge in prepping data sources to actually work well with it. So we need to look at how we're going to do that. And then lastly, we really want to integrate our front-end systems so that we have Tableau Server in more places than just on Tableau Server. So in summary, self-service is not self-fulfilling. We've seen all the different elements that we've used to make it work well and run smoothly, but it is self-rewarding. So we've freed up $2 million in reserves. We now have workload management for the claims adjusters. We've improved process and streamlined a lot of processes that were very inefficient. We have informed decision-making at all levels of the claims org, from the adjusters up to the VP. We have performance evaluation of how we're actually handling claims and where we can do better. And we're able to respond in real time to incidents as they occur so we can better serve our customers. So that's all we have for you. Thank you very much for coming. Please complete the session survey in the mobile app. If you would like to reach out to us, you can email us, and we're happy to stick around and take some questions. If you have a question, please feel free to move your headphones, yell it out, and we can repeat it for the audience, or talk to us after. Thank you.